We're going to have to leave it there and turn to one of the crises right now out of the Middle East with the Israel-Hamas conflict. Joining us is Scott Anderson. He is the director of the UN's refugee efforts in Gaza. UNRWA is the largest relief agency for Palestinian refugees, and he joins us right now from Amman, Jordan. Scott, I know you were in the U.S. Army. You served 2 tours in Afghanistan. From what you've seen in Gaza, how does it compare? Sorry, I cannot hear Scott right now.
Sorry.
There you go.
I was going to say Gaza is much worse, Margaret, than Afghanistan was. I mean, everywhere you go, the scale of destruction just really defies description. It looks like something out of a kind of post-apocalyptic movie. Most places you're looking at 90 to 100% destruction, with the infrastructure suffering much worse. So I never saw anything quite like that in Afghanistan that we're seeing now in Gaza.
The USAID chief, Samantha Power, said conditions are worse now in Gaza than ever before. She said that was due to the Israeli military operations and closed crossings. What exactly is the humanitarian situation right now?
So what you have is 2.2 million people that have all been displaced at least once. Most have been displaced multiple times. In Rafah, ahead of the operation, we had over 1 million people again displaced to Khan Yunis, to Deir al-Balah. And what they're lacking is really just the basic necessities that we all kind of expect. They need food, they need access to water, they need access to showers, access to toilets, access to medical care. And unfortunately, because of a variety of factors, we're unable to import everything that's needed and to make sure that everybody has the basic necessities that they need to get through every day.
19 different aid organizations released a letter this week saying Palestinians are surviving on less than 3% of their daily water needs. Hepatitis is spreading. Medical evacuations have been halted. Virtually every hospital has been issued evacuation orders. The Pentagon said it has suspended airdrops of food because of the Israeli military action. And as we know, the pier is not really operating. Who exactly is impeding the delivery?
I mean, I think it's a variety of things, not just one person that you can point to. All of the bulk of our aid comes in through Kerem Shalom. It all comes through Egypt, starts at Port Said, goes through the Sinai to Al Arish, and eventually makes its way to Kerem Shalom, where it's brought in then by us to the Palestinian side and then onward for the last mile distribution within Gaza. There's a lot of steps that have to go perfectly right for all that to work. And unfortunately, not everything has gone right. For a time, Egypt was not sending trucks where we had 80,000 metric tons of aid in country we couldn't access. And we've been perpetually playing catch up on the aid situation since October. Not everybody has a tent that needs one. So you have people sleeping outside still as we're 8 months after the start of the conflict. And you highlighted correctly our number one concern at this point, which is access to clean drinking water. Without that, in addition to hepatitis, you have things like cholera and other diseases that could become very prevalent. We could see an outbreak happen very soon. And it's something that concerns us. And additionally, it's getting hot. It's summer. It's essentially you're in a desert. And if people don't have access to clean drinking water, that's a problem for dehydration as well as for disease.
I know you are with the UN, so you can't talk about politics and policy, but President Biden did make this address Friday talking about a proposal for a ceasefire and hostage deal. He said it would come with 600 aid trucks per day to enter Gaza with supplies, with shelter and the like. Who's going to be doing all of that distribution?
I mean, it'd be the entire international humanitarian community because of the scale. I mean, currently UNRWA feeds a little over half the population. We're feeding about 1.3 or 1.4 million people every day. But it would be us, along with the rest of the UN and all our partners. And I would say we very much welcome a ceasefire. It's time for the hostages to go home to their families. Time for more aid to start coming in. And then hopefully we can start rebuilding Gaza.
Scott Anderson, thank you for telling us what you are seeing and experiencing on the ground.